All right, welcome to the Audible Extacy live podcast, I should say. We're going to do like we've done the past couple of weeks and try to keep in the swing of things and do our live music review discussion of what's been going on, what we've been listening to, and go from there. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Chris.
I'm Anthony.
And hopefully you enjoy this. This should be a humorous discussion, I would imagine. But we'll see what happens. All right, guys. I'll start off with you, Anthony. What'd you do this week? Anything going on? Any new music? What's happening?
It's at least I don't really know, Jimmy. I mean, basically just listening to the same old stuff. Got into a little bit more Devil Driver this week.
Right on.
They've definitely caught me on the radar, and found myself listening to some old Maiden today, and
yeah.
Oh, that Europe album, The Final Countdown, which is a much better album than I remember it being.
Really?
That's
I haven't
classic,
listened to it in a long time, man.
Yeah, it's really good.
I can remember when I was
What's
a
that?
child, I'd sit there and listen to the AM radio of the local high school football team on Friday nights, and they'd always play The Final Countdown on the whenever they start the broadcast of the football game.
That is a really, really good album. It really
Yeah.
is. Really good classic album.
Beyond the Final Countdown and I guess Carrie, what other songs? Because those are the only two I remember by them.
Cherokee is a good one by them. That was one of their hits.
Trail of Tears. That's right.
What was the other one they had? It was big. There's a few other ones on there that I heard.
Oh, Lord. Can you make me look it up? Hang on.
Yeah, I did that.
We've already gone into
Didn't
full
it?
pussification mode on this podcast. Just a couple minutes in.
Let's gay it up. Here we go. No offense.
Tell you Europe fans.
We
out
mean
there.
it in
I managed to
joking.
catch
Rock
Wonder
the
Woman
Night.
this week too.
That song was
Rock
awesome.
the Night. That's right. Yeah, it's coming back.
Oh, yeah.
I always wondered the song Cherokee. What do a bunch of Scandinavians know about the Trail of Tears in the 1800s in the United States? Tell me.
There was a lot of those songs around during that time. Manowar did a song, and Iron Maiden did a song, and who else did a song? Somebody else did a song about the Indians back in the time. Anthrax did a song on the Indians.
Yeah, they did. It's called, was it called Indians, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yes, sir.
I did manage to go and see Wonder Woman too this week.
Oh, nice. How was
How
that?
was
I hear
that?
it's great.
That was a really good movie.
I hear it's
Really,
awesome.
really good. Yeah, it's really, really good.
I'm a big fan of the Gal Gadot. She's
Oh,
she's
who could
something
not
else.
be a fan of that girl?
Oh man, have you seen
She's amazing.
her with old John Hamm? That movie they did.
I haven't seen that. No.
It's a pretty cute movie.
Oh, was it the spy movie?
Yeah, it's Zach Galifianakis. He's
I saw
it's like
part of
a
that. I haven't
comedy
finished it.
slash spy movie, but
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
more comedy than anything.
I
Right.
was watching a little bit of the Lego Batman movie just now.
We watched that last weekend. It's hilarious.
It's pretty funny, man. I'm about an hour into it.
Yeah, that's
I
a good
rented
one.
it tonight.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So is that it for you, Anthony?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Chris, what about you, man? What'd you get into this week? Any new music, anything?
Musically, I
different?
was listening to I pretty much this All That Remains album that we were going to review. I listen to that pretty much every day on my commute to try to get a good read on it. So
I do. I know the feeling.
yeah, I listen to that quite a bit. A lot of talk radio.
Well,
Apparently
yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo is about to bolt from Real Madrid, so I had to catch up on all the.
I thought about that if you told me earlier today. I don't think he's going to do it only because they literally have a chance to three-peat.
Oh, I don't think he cares about that. He's all about number one. He doesn't care.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
hope not.
I like Christian. I actually like the guy. I think honestly, I could be way off. I definitely see that guy doing the same route Beckham did, and eventually going to LA. Or I actually think he'd like to come to Miami because David Beckham's going to start a team in Miami in a couple of years. A
Wow.
little bit off though, but I could see him. Can't you see that guy hanging out on South Beach? I mean, seriously, that's just.
Well, yeah, that would be where he would be hanging for sure.
And he has children. I don't think he wants to go to China. China would pay him a ton of money, but I don't think he wants to.
Right.
Anyway, this is a music. We don't have to.
Yeah, I thought it's soccer.
It's okay. Podcast meant to be for a little bit of everything, isn't it?
I guess that's a good point. That's true.
That's right, man. We're going to discuss what's going on and not just music. So, so Chris, was that it? No, nothing else?
I'm drinking a new beer today. I just cracked open. It's from Fonta Flora. I'll show you all the bottle. It's a big bottle. I have trouble drinking this whole thing, but
Good luck, buddy.
Flock to Booze. It's a mixed culture saison ale brewed with oranges, coriander, and Earl Grey tea.
Oh my God.
It's actually very good, man. It's a little sour, but it's not like super sour like some of their beers. It's kind of tart,
Right
man.
on.
I'm thoroughly
Nice, man.
enjoying this too, man. So
You know,
I have
Jimmy,
another bottle, Jimmy. I'll bring up to you and share. So
Sounds good.
another thing I was going to mention, Jimmy, is I listened to The Elder this week by Kiss.
Yeah. I'm not
It's
sure why
actually-
you would put yourself through that, but all right.
It's actually not the crap storm people made it out to be.
I don't know, man. I just never could get into it, Anthony. I tried. I remember. Let me tell you what. I go back so far that album. You know, that album was like discontinued for years.
Was it?
You couldn't find it because Kiss hated it so much. They had it pulled off the shelf,
Really?
and then somehow they got talked into re-releasing it. So it's.
Well, I'm sure Gene got
it
talked
was-
with the money. Money
Oh, yeah,
talks
I'm
for
sure.
Gene.
I'm sure. But I remember searching violently for it back when I was in my teenage years, and I finally got a copy. I had to be in. The first time I ever heard it, I must have been in college at Virginia Highlands. So, it sounded so much not Kiss to me. You know, if you think about it, if you don't think of it as a Kiss album, I guess it's okay. You know, it's actually a soundtrack for a movie that never got released.
Yeah, I was thinking
You know that?
Kiss really isn't. Kiss isn't a band that can do a concept album.
explain this out.
You know,
to me, 'cause
Priest.
I've never. I mean, I'm not the fan you guys are. By the way, I enjoy Kiss. It's just something I'm never immersed myself.
No, I understand, dude. Listen,
Tell me
I
about
totally
this album because I've
understand.
heard of it, but is it really that bad? I mean,
It's not. It's not bad. It's just. It's not a Kiss album.
I am not going to say that it's not bad because that album, in my mind, is not a great album, not a good album. It's certainly not. It's mediocre at best, Anthony. I'll give it that.
Yeah,
mediocre
it's just the
at
problem is it's not a Kiss album. If Maiden would have done it, or Priest would have done it, or somebody like that, it would have been probably
You
a
got to
great
think
album.
about it this way. That came out in 1981, right after the heaviest album they had ever released.
Yeah, I know.
Creatures of the Night was a rocker. They released that, and then they released this. And, oh, my God.
It's just not their. You know, Kiss is more just pop, hard rock, kind of fun, enjoyable music, and then they try to make a serious concept album, and it's just not really. You know, it doesn't really fit their mantra, so to speak. I guess that's the right word.
Let me tell you something.
Anyways.
This is an excerpt from Kiss Wikipedia for this album. Okay, it says, when Kiss premiered Music from the Elder for their management and record company in 1981, the reaction was a mixture of confusion and resentment. Fan reaction to the album was equally harsh, while critical reaction was comparably positive. Oh
Well,
my
you know,
God.
You know, I think Def Leppard had something happen to them in the late '90s with slang, where they built a certain fan base with a certain style, and they try to release something completely out of there, and all of a sudden the fans just rejected it outright. So they had to go back to their old sound. That's why they're greatest hits act now.
Wow.
But I think that's what happened with that album too, is that fans weren't willing to let Kiss be a little more experimental.
You know what?
You know,
I'm trying to think here. I thought Creatures of the Night came out before this? I may be wrong.
yeah, I don't know that much about.
Oh my
I
God!
don't
Hang
know that
on.
much Kiss.
It did. Okay, so now it makes more sense. So they came back and recorded Creatures of the Night after that album was so piss poor. That's why it was so heavy.
It's kind of like when Leopard went back and did. Was it in the late '90s? Euphoria or something was the name of that one.
Yeah,
That's a good
that was
song.
okay. It wasn't quite a full return, but it was certainly better than the predecessor.
But anyways,
is the Peter Criss thing even worth mentioning, or so that was like already known? That wasn't.
Well, you know what, Chris? I thought that he announced that last year. I remember hearing that on a podcast a long time ago, maybe middle of last year or maybe toward the fall. But I guess it was officially announced today.
Apparently, Saturday is his last show or concert with Kiss.
With Kiss.
Saturday
He's
night.
not playing with Kiss anymore, dude. Is he really going to play with Kiss at this show?
Peter Criss.
Yeah.
He's the drummer, right?
No,
Was he
no,
not
no,
when you
no,
saw
no,
them?
no. No. Kiss. Peter Chris hasn't been with him for about God 8 or 10 years now. They've been
It
using
sounded
Eric.
like he was going to perform with them on Saturday night.
That might be true, but if oh my God, I didn't read that part into the article. Jeez, if that's the case, they really need to get Ace Frehley over there too, because
Who was the drummer when you saw him?
Eric Singer or Eric Carr, Eric Singer, I
I
think.
thought he was with them. Okay, well, you guys know more about it than me. So this is really newsworthy at all. Then. Maybe it would be if he's playing with him.
If
He's
he's playing
playing
with
somewhere
Kiss,
Saturday night.
that's huge. If he's playing with Kiss, that's huge, because they had a disagreement toward the end. I don't know if it's financial or what, but
Who's the Eddie Van Halen of Kiss? Who's the one that's so difficult?
God, it's got to be Simmons.
Yeah, that's got to be right.
Well, Simmons and Stanley are the brainchild of the band. Apparently, I mean, they write the music, the majority of the music. They sing the majority of the music. I don't know if it was a conscious effort for them to be the singers and write most of the music. However, some of my favorite tunes are the songs written by Frehley and sang by Frehley. A lot of the times. But geez, dude, I don't know.
All right.
Golly.
Yeah, back to Kiss again.
Yeah.
The mini on Kiss.
No, that's cool. We are going to discuss All That Remains shortly. This is, as you guys can see down at the bottom of your Google thing, it says live discussion and review of the All That Remains album, Madness. And we'll get to that in just a second. I was going to quickly go over my week. As I told y'all last week, I was going to go see a live show down in Johnson City, and I was able to do so. It was actually surprisingly a good show. I mean, it's heavy. It was heavy.
Was it Capone's or the Hideaway? Which one?
It was at Capone's.
Okay.
And
Because,
it was another situation. I got to meet all the bands, spoke to them for an extended amount of time. I theoretically could have done an interview. I could have recorded the conversation with both.
Uploaded on this podcast.
Well, I thought about doing that. I really did, but I didn't get their permission to quote what they said, and I really should have recorded it because
they'd have given it to you.
But I'm sure they would have. They would have, but however, I don't want to cause any kind of negative image, because I am going to do that for our podcast or our webcast. I am going to start trying to get I don't know, 5, 6, 8, 10 questions pre-written. Go to them and ask if they got time. I tell them I'm from Audible Extacy, and let's see what happens. I mean, if they'll talk to me, that's great. Who knows?
You never know, man.
You got to start somewhere. And I've been lucky to start somewhere. I mean, I've been lucky to meet tons of bands. Two local bands.
As far as this genre goes, they're very fan accessible for the most part. A lot of these people are. So.
Oh yeah, the guys I'm telling you, it's amazing. I never thought this was even possible 10 years ago to get this close to bands. Yeah. And now that my God, I literally walking up and shaking hands, talking to them just about random junk, not necessarily about music.
Yeah.
Expressing my appreciation for what they've done, and getting a handshake from them, getting them a guitar pick, or whatever it may be. I mean, now this music is not for either one of you guys, with the exception of probably Invoking the Abstract, because it was all instrumental. It was guitar, so it wasn't no lyrical screaming and stuff. But the first band was a local band called At Night They Return. I've seen them before a couple times. They're not bad, but they are, they're working. They actually just released an EP, I guess, about a week ago. So it's available online now. The second band, At Night They Return, they do kind of like a screaming deathcore style. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. They sound like maybe the Acacia Strain. I don't know. It's a genre of metal that is basically screaming. The second band was Dire Hatred. They were actually a whole heck of a lot better than I thought. I met the guitarist as soon as we walked in. He sold us the tickets to get into the show.
The guitarist sold you the tickets to get in?
Yeah, he was out front, and he sold us the tickets to get in the show. And a buddy of mine I work with went with me, named Justin. But that band came out there. They play I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a black metal, death metal mixture. You guys familiar with the band Death? I don't know if either one of you may or may not be. But
I've heard of them. I've never listened to them.
Well,
I can't say
they actually they're a well-known death metal band from the origination of Florida death metal. That's where death metal came from, basically.
I didn't know that.
They had a guy named Chuck Schuldiner. He was their guitarist founder. He was they call him the godfather of death metal. He died of a brain cancer quite a few years back, probably 15 years ago now. But I was a fan of Death I remember my mom taking me to the record bar, Chris, the freaking record bar, and buying on cassette Death's album, Scream Bloody Gore. I love the cover. I got the cover because it looks scary. And
how old were you when you got that?
oh my God, it was 87. I don't know. I mean, I was in high school clearly, but it was either 86 or 87. But it was, it was early.
This vision of like a little 6-year-old walking up the counter with this tape.
It wasn't like that at all. No. But anyway, these guys sounded kind of like Death to me, to be honest with you. The next band was called Invoking the Abstract. They're actually on a major label. They're an instrumental band. These guys are super duper talented. You remember we saw the John 5 show? Imagine that, Chris. It's kind of like that. It was like a John 5 type situation. Okay.
That guy was a tremendous guitarist, I'll tell you what.
Oh my God, dude. John 5 is awesome. These two guys that were playing guitar were freaking nuts. It was insane. I should have recorded video of that show. It was freaking awesome. And the last band was Info Darkness. They are clearly like a death metal band mixed with black metal. Were they the headliner? They were the headliner. They were on point, dude. They were insanely. They sounded incredible as far as musically, vocally. There's nothing you guys would like about it. I'll just be honest with you. Lyrically, it's absolutely terrible. So I don't even know what the lyrics are. I'm sure it's absolutely evil. All I care about is the music. I'm the person that I like the music. I want to hear good guitar playing. I want to hear excellent drums. And as long as the bass is keeping them in line, I'm happy. Vocally, I can handle anything, as you guys know. But this was something I was impressed with. I'll be honest with you. I walked away from that show satisfied. I was very happy with what I saw. I'm glad I went. I lost a lot of sleep because, it's Tuesday night, so I had to go to work the next morning. But it was rough. It's not a word for it, dude. When you're 44 years old and
that's rough.
And you get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, that's rough. But,
if I went, I'd have to take the day off the next day. There's no question.
Yeah, I just couldn't take a day off, man. I had stuff I got to do at work.
Yeah,
but nonetheless, a great experience, great show, cool people. And that's the thing about it I like the best is I met the majority of Info Darkness. I met everybody in the Invoking the Abstract. I met the lead singer of Dire Hatred, and I know 2 of the guys, and that night they returned. So it's kind of cool. Great overall. My concert experience was awesome. Now, as you guys have done, I listened to All That Remains. I'd already had the pleasure of listening to this album prior to this, and I'll be honest with you, I did not give it a fair shake when I told y'all last week that the album is not what you'd expect. It's not, what I expected, because I'd only listened to it once or twice prior to even listening to it again. It's been sitting put up since the week it came out for me, so I hadn't even pulled it back out until this week. I also got a couple other albums this week that I listened to that were, I don't know if it's worthy of sharing, but I will tell you this. I got a couple of Styx has a new album that came out today. I'm a fan of Styx. Sorry. Guilty pleasure. Call me a loser, whatever you want to, but I dig Styx. And I haven't had a chance to listen to it with a good critical listen like we would call it, but so far it's been decent. It's certainly very, very, very similar to the stuff they did in the 80s. I appreciate that. Got an album by a band called Elder this week, which is an up-and-coming metal band that I guess they're kind of like, they kind of sound like Black Sabbath. So if you like Black Sabbath, you'd probably dig it. I got an album by a band called All Shall Perish, a deathcore band from California. My friend Justin hooked me up with that album. It's actually impressive. It's pretty good. Vocally, I don't think you guys would be in. Musically, it's freaking awesome. It's just like complete groove metal. And realistically, I think that's about it. Nickelback's new album came out today. I've got that.
I think we just listened a little Nickelback this week, actually, man. So,
oh my God, that was awesome. I just want to see y'all's expression. That's it for the music, guys. I mean, I've got a couple other things lined up for next week that I'm going to probably get when I get a chance. But that's about it. I had a good week with music. Let's just put it that way. I'm open to start this discussion about All That Remains. What about y'all?
Let's bring it on.
All right. So with me being the most experienced with this album, I will go. You want me to go first or you want me to go last? Because I don't want to go.
Let's let Anthony go first. I'm curious to hear his, and I got a feeling his is going to be the most brief of the reviews. So
okay, yeah, that's fine. Anthony, go ahead. Let me have it.
I honestly don't have a lot to say about this one. I listened to it last Sunday all the way through once, and that's it this week. And I just listened to the samples a few minutes ago on Amazon. I can say Amazon here. I hope I can.
Yeah, we can.
Might get bleeped.
Hey, we're all Amazon.
anyway,
Jeff Bezos has got an earpiece in. What?
Yeah. Jeff
But
Bezos.
I mean, looking through the songs, when I heard Safe House, I thought I was in for something special. And then Madness, I was like, okay, still really good. Then he got into like 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and now you're like, okay, when's it kicking back in? It got down to Open Grave. I was like, maybe they're coming back around again. And of course they didn't. And towards the end, I was really looking forward to the Thunder Rolls cover, which was good, but it was very flat. You know, it was very even. Even Garth Brooks' original cover, I mean, it has a lot of punch and a lot of energy to it. This song was just even keel throughout the whole song. There was no no emotion in that song at all. And, overall, I'd probably give the album probably a 5.5 out of 10.
Okay, that's a fair assessment. I see where you're coming from.
I'm looking at the reviews down here, and it's like 38% 5, 12% 4, 18% 3, 15% 2, and 17% 1.
These are on
And there's a
Amazon.
bunch
That's
right
on
at the top.
Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh wow, I didn't
you
look at the
know,
reviews.
not what I was hoping. Yeah, the titles are like 1 star. Very disappointed with this CD. Still hopeful. And not what I was hoping for. You know, so that's kind of where they lead off with that one. But there are some really positives. Some people really love it. So, but that wasn't for me.
Gotcha.
It wasn't.
I
It wasn't
noticed
the
their.
much I was expecting.
I also looked at a few reviews on this album just to see if my thoughts were in line with the general public. And I noticed that the lead singer has been out defending this album quite a bit.
Phil
Due to a lot
Lamont,
of criticism from the critics, I guess. So you're onto something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, being that I don't know much about them, I never really listened to them. This is probably a poor album to start with, it seems like. But
I think so.
kind of makes me want to get back and listen to some of the original stuff, see how they were.
I
Might have to do that sometime.
think that's a good idea, Anthony. I did that too. I listened to some of the older stuff to compare and contrast. Big difference, and the older stuff is heavy as hell, man. I mean, it's kind of like Safe
Yeah.
House all the way through.
Five Finger Death Punch, I think, knows how to modify their sound and still keep their same energy level and all together. That's a really good example of how you grow your band and grow your style, but sort of still keep who you are. But this band sounds like they just went off the deep end with this album. Completely lost their style, whoever they are, and all that stuff. So, but I'm a fan of Five Finger Death Punch, so I'd have a few bad words to say about them.
You do know that the lead
Anyways.
singer took over for Five Finger Death Punch last year, right?
What's
Walter,
that?
man. Lead singer?
You know that, yeah, Phil Lamont, he filled in for Ivan last year when he was going to
Yeah.
rehab.
I didn't
Yeah,
know.
he said he was. Yeah, Ivan was saying he was doing something, and his family was saying something else. There's a big.
Oh, he straight went into
Controversy.
rehab. We know what happened. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the metal community knows what happened, dude. He can lie about all he wants. Everybody knows he went to rehab.
Well, as angry as that guy is, you guarantee he's got some kind of demon he's trying to cast.
I
out
will say
somewhere.
this before we go any further. You do realize this week that he quit the band, right?
He went what?
Ivan quit the band this week. Do you know that?
I haven't heard that. No.
Yeah, they were performing somewhere in Europe, and apparently he didn't come out for the first 2 songs. They had to have somebody else sing the first 2 songs. When he finally came out, he sang like 4 songs half-assed, and then he got in the middle of the last song they were playing. He's like, "You guys are in for a special treat. This is the last time you're ever going to see me singing for these losers," or something like that. And then
Jeez.
he walked off the stage. And then they didn't put a public release out for a couple of days, and apparently they've got a guy that's going to fill in for the rest of the tour.
Wow.
Wish I'd seen them sooner.
Yeah,
That's
who knows? He could have been drunk, high on some kind of drugs, but he is no longer on tour with them right now. He's claiming he's not going to be in the band anymore, so we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, look at Dragon Force. I mean, their new singer is amazing. So
He is awesome, dude. Period. Awesome. I like him better than the old HP Thrard or whatever his name was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about half and half, but he's
ZP.
really good.
What was his dang name? I can't even remember his name, man. I'm so happy with the new singer. That's about as far as I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah, he has kind of that nice new old metal sound that we sing.
Oh, dude, all the power metal, man. God, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we got to get back on track here. All right, Chris, do you want me to go next or do you want to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah. This one kind of grew on me, to be honest, over time. The first listen, I was pretty down on it. And some songs, okay, I feel like there's about 3 songs on that album that just need to be scrapped altogether. I think, if I'm honest, sounds like Nickelback. I swear to God, it sounds just like them. I played it for my wife without saying anything. I was like, "Who does this sound like?" She said, "Nickelback," right off the bat. And I was like, "You do not put a song like Safe House on an album, and then 3 songs later that crap is on there. Are you kidding me? I mean, seriously, that's ridiculous."
Safe House is a great song.
Back to You was terrible. Far From Home, pretty weak too. Listen, these songs would be fine on a mainstream pop album, okay? But that's not what this is. And I don't know, you know, I wrestled with this because I thought, who's for me to say? These guys might be trying to broaden their horizons, try new things. I don't know. But gosh, that's so much variance on one album. It's hard to soak it in, really. That said, I felt like most of the album was pretty good. I rated this thing overall an 8.1 out of 10 because there were a lot of 10s. I thought Madness was a great song. I thought Safe House was a great song. Halo, Louder, Open Grave, Trust and Believe, Never Sorry, We're All Good. Thunder Rolls I felt the same with Anthony on that. That was what he bring his girlfriend in to sing the backup on that or something.
I didn't look up
I couldn't find it. I
on
looked
that.
to see who it was. I figured it's some singer from another band or something. But
It has to be. I don't know who it is either.
But okay, whatever. I mean, that song. These guys had the potential to blow that song out of the water if they wanted to, and they just went a strange route on that. I think the drummer and the lead guitarist are fantastic. I thought that lead guitar, especially that guitar player. There were times I heard shades of Malmsteen coming out of that guy. I mean,
he can shred, dude. He can shred.
Very, very good. And so it's hard for me to trash an album like this because I felt like there were a lot of good in it. You just had to listen to it a few times for it to come out. I think that lead singer has a great voice. He growls well. He harmonizes well. Sometimes he sounds like old Phil Anselmo. Sometimes he sounds like Hetfield. Sometimes he sounds like Chad Kroger. I don't know.
Apparently.
I mean, and I'm sure that would probably piss him off to hear fans say that. I mean, I'm casual at best, but I don't know, man. I mean, 8.1. For me, that's a pretty good review. I think. I felt like I liked it for the most part. If they could have weeded some songs off, it would have been really good. I'll tell you another pet peeve of mine. That you guys remember that song River City?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like phone ring in the middle of this song.
Yeah, the phone was the only part about the song I didn't like.
I know. I was just thinking, what is that? Why are they doing that?
Well, I think throughout the song, there's part of the message, the meaning of the song, and I'm assuming it's something about not being able to contact somebody or something. I don't know, but it has to play some part in the song. I can tell you right now, the only reason why that song didn't score higher on my end was because of the freaking phone ringing.
Yeah, the same here.
The first time I heard it, I was like,
felt the same way, man. Okay, at the beginning, it was like, all right, well, it's just an intro. But then, after the first, the first group of, whatever you call it, and the chorus kicks in, then it starts again. I'm like, what is this? See if I have any more notes on this. Yeah, I was basically saying I can't fault them for trying new stuff. I mean, all bands have to do that. You grow as a band, you take artistic liberties. Sometimes you fall flat, man. I feel like maybe they did on a few things here, but overall it was a pretty good album.
All right. I agree. All right. Before I even get started on this, I told y'all last week that I'd listen to it. It ain't a good album. And I knew that we probably should have went to a earlier record like The Fall of Ideas. But because I had only listened to it once or twice, I guess maybe twice all the way through. I know one time for sure all the way through, maybe partially through the second time. I truly did not give this a fair shake. And like when I listened to it again the first time on, I guess, Sunday as well, I was like, okay, same feelings you guys had. This is mediocre, whatever. Safe House, it starts it off like I like it, growling.
Yeah.
Madness kind of got the groove going, or still going, and he's kind of starting to harmonize. And then Nothing I Can Do, I think is a good song, pretty good structure. If I'm honest, I'm like, oh my freaking God, what in the hell happened?
Just I'm honest, this song sucks.
And I'm not going to go further the rest of them right yet. That was on listen number 1, and I was already freaking mad because I had to listen to it again. All right. Well, I find myself on Monday listening to it again at work while I'm, with my earphones in, and I'm like, okay, not so bad, not so bad. And then I listened to it again on Monday a second time, and I'm like, okay. Well, by the time Tuesday got here, I had songs in my head. Yeah. I was already thinking about these songs that night before I went to bed. Got the next day, listened to it again at work, same type situation. I'm listening to it while I'm, working, kind of doing computer junk. And I find myself actually starting to appreciate the songs more and more, with the exception of a couple of them. So I'm like, this is unfreaking believable. And I'm telling you right now, I have probably listened to this album this week alone, I would dare say 9 times, maybe 10.
All the way through.
And this is the thing, Anthony. This is where it hurts. You don't give something a fair shake because the first time it smacks you in the face and you're not expecting it. I did this a month and a half ago when this album first came out, and I basically pushed it down the toilet, never given it a fair shake. I basically owe these guys an apology because if I had reviewed this on our blog, I would have slammed this album. Yeah. Looking back, man, like Chris, there's only 110 on this album, in my opinion, and that song is Open Grave. Best song they've written in 10 years. Period. Best song they've written in 10 years. Safe House is 9.
I had 2 10s. I gave Madness a 10. For some reason, I really liked that song too.
Yeah, that was one I really liked a lot too.
Madness, I gave it a 9.
I gave Safe House a 9. But
see here, Nothing I Can Do, 8.5. If I'm honest, I gave it a 7 because it would be a good song. I just
No, that one good. No, 7. Come on,
dude, it's a radio song. It's a freaking radio song. They wrote that for the radio.
I gave it a 6.5, and that was just because I was
being nice. Yeah,
the song itself is fine. Doesn't fit on this album, but it's fine.
Right. That's why, and that's the only reason why I'm trying to take it from a song perspective.
That's a fair. Yeah, I understand.
Halo, I thought was a decent song. I gave it a 7.5.
I liked Halo.
Louder, I kind of like Louder. I know it's like a radio song, but
I don't know about that.
Like, it's 7.5. It's a 7.5. It's not the heaviest song, and it's definitely more radio friendly. I like River City, Chris, with the exception of that stupid freaking stupid cell phone. Yeah. I gave it an 8. Open Grave, of course, I gave it 10. Far From Home, I gave it 7. I thought it was mediocre. Trust and Believe, 8.5. That is a solid song, guys.
Yeah, good song.
Back to You, I gave it a 6 because I'm sure lyrically it means something to somebody. Song doesn't do anything. Yeah. Never Sorry, I gave it a 7.5 because I think it's trying to do some kind of techno vibe. What the heck? But you know what? That's the way it goes. And the Thunder Rolls, I gave it a 7. That is exactly what I gave it. 7 out of 10, man. Mediocre at best. All right. Overall, my record rated a 78.8 out of 100. I round that up to an 8 out of 10 because I feel like this is an 8 out of 10. I feel like this is a good album. I definitely will find myself listening to this again because it resonated with me. I'm telling y'all, these songs were in my mind daily now, or this whole week, I should say. And I found myself wanting to listen to it more and more based on, I guess, the riffs were in my mind, and I liked it. Like I said, if you listen to something like this once or twice, you're probably not giving it a true shot. If you give it a chance to absorb into your mind and kind of work its magic on you, you will appreciate it. And I think that's what happens on a lot of these Amazon reviews. Like I can tell you, I'm one of those guys that usually is one listen. If I can't get it, I'm not in it. Yeah, that's what happened when I first listened on this one. That's why I told y'all this album's crap. I'm wrong, and I will apologize. And I know that Phil LeBont's never going to listen to this, and neither will the rest of the guys. But I will tell you this album is better than what it's being reviewed as. People
Yeah,
are expecting them to re-release the fall of ideas every album, and that's not going to happen anymore. They know where the money is. They still make a couple heavy songs every album, and the radio is where the cash is. If they can get something like Halo or something like If I'm Honest or Back to You played on Spotify 1,000 times a week, which I'm sure is probably what's happening because chicks dig stuff like this and softer metal fans dig this stuff. I hate to say it. That's where their money comes from. They have got to cater that this day and time.
Is it Spotify that gives them a lot of money these days, or is it radio? Or what is it?
From what I understand, and Spotify is the bread and butter for the majority of these bands, with the exception of touring is where they make their money. They have to go out on tour.
See, I think you hit on something there with the girlfriends and stuff. I think a lot of guys come to these concerts. If they bring the girlfriends,
right?
I think the girlfriends appreciate a couple of these songs to be played as well. I don't know, man. Listen. Everybody has the right to try to branch out and do whatever they want to. And I'll say this: if these guys come anywhere near, I'll go see them in concert. I thought they were great.
I regret. I had to work last. They were at Capone's like 5 or 6 years ago, dude. I missed the freaking. I do. Trust me. I had to work. I was working at Johnson City Honda last time they were here.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Even if it's not Johnson City, like if it's Knoxville or Asheville or Winston or wherever, I wouldn't mind taking a little trip to go see them, man. They put on a good show.
You're the one that got me to stay. I've never seen them.
Yeah. So.
All right. So overall, 2 out of 3 of us appreciated it. Anthony, I think if you go back and give it another shot or a couple listens, you may grow on you. And it may not, man. Don't get me wrong. There's certain things that will never grow on me, no matter what I try.
And if it doesn't, listen to some of the old stuff, man, because the old stuff's fantastic.
Well, my music time throughout the day is limited, and I've been into other bands all week and just haven't got around to giving this another shot.
That's totally cool, man. Like I said, we don't have a set rule how to listen to this. You honestly gave a review for somebody who had never listened to him before, whereas I was already a fan, but I had already blown this album off. So I guess I was, pleasantly surprised to go back and listen to it myself. And Chris, I'm glad you gave it, a multiple listen week as well, because
I'm planning on it. I take these seriously, believe it or not, guys. I try to even if it's something I don't think I'm gonna like that much, I'll try to give it an honest review and listen to it a few times anyway, just to see if
good.
And sometimes I'm surprised. Sometimes I like music more than I think I will, and sometimes I dislike it more than I think it will. Kind of like with Soundgarden. I expected a higher review than I gave it, man, but my memory didn't do it. It wasn't as good as I remembered it to be. Right. So.
Yeah, I just found myself not able to get around to listening to it. Yeah, I plan to listen to it again this week. I just didn't get around to it. I didn't really like it all that much when I listened to it on Sunday, but I was going to try and give it one more shot. But
that's interesting.
See, that's like I said, that's totally understandable, Anthony.
I didn't realize that they were tight with the guys at Five Finger Death Punch. I mean, if their singer's going and filling in for this guy, man, that says something right there.
Yeah, he. I mean, you can watch the videos on YouTube. I've watched probably every one that's been released. I think he did maybe a half a dozen shows. I mean, I heard he was well received. He was well received by the fans. They sounded fantastic. I'll just be honest with you; they sounded awesome.
Yeah. Well, he's got the band behind him to do it when he plays with them. So
these guys they're talented as hell.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good band behind him with all the remains too. I feel like those musicians are great, man. They really are.
They are. They're absolutely great. Yeah. They're just all of them are great.
Yeah.
You're talking to cover songs. I mean, Bad Company by Five Finger Death Punch. I think it's better than the original. I mean, that's the way you remake a song right there. That song is just
a good
pure
song.
Energy.
That's a good cover. That's a good cover.
And Dragon Force's Ring of Fire is another great cover song. I was thinking of that one too.
You know what? I find myself on the fence with that one. It's okay. I've got it live. It's great live. I mean, I've got it over here on the Blu-ray, but
I don't know. They seem to keep the spirit of the original by morphing it into their own sound, which I thought was kind of cool.
Right. No, I agree with you, man. They definitely it's Dragon Force. They freaking blaze those solos. I love those guys, and if I can get to see them sometime, I'm all in.
Yeah, probably never get to see them. They never come this way. They're only New York or LA.
Right. They play the big cities, and that's literally it.
Are they foreign?
They're from England, but like half the band lives. Well, I guess Herman Lee, the main guitarist guy, he lives in California, out in L.A. But the rest of the guys
a lot of
live
foreign bands only hit the big cities, whereas the American bands will tour throughout the South.
Right. I think it has to do with the money because, I mean, it's very, very expensive. They got to have visas to get in the United States, and they got to fly all this equipment over here.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's extremely expensive.
I don't think the audience is the same for that metal scene in Europe and the States as it used to be.
Oh, no. Power metal's not huge here. Very cheap.
Any idea where All the Remains is from? Where are they from?
They're from up in Massachusetts, I think right outside of Boston. They a little known fact, you guys, if you know who Shadows Fall is, it's a band I dig. They're from Boston. Well, Phil LeBont was the original singer for them.
Oh, okay.
He's on their first album, and it's a turd, but it's it's just history. It's just history for Shadows Fall. And when Shadows Fall released their second album with their new and what would be their current singer until they retired. They've all retired since the last album. But they rocked. They rocked all the way through. It sounded so much better with Brian Fair singing over Phil LeBont because it's a different style of music. It was like a hardcore versus I don't even know how to. I wouldn't even know how to classify All That Remains because they have elements of deathcore by vocals and hardcore by the speed, the sheer intensity of the music they play. God, I don't even know how to classify him. But I know that Phil has a good fit where he's at now, and I think he sounds good vocally with them.
Yeah. Very good.
Jeez. All right, now with that, I know Chris, this is your week to pick somebody or something. Whatever you want to do, try to give a shot. I'm
on the deck tonight looking through Amazon trying to find something that we could all have access to. I think I came up with the winner, guys. It's an album that I hadn't listened to in a long time. It's heavy as hell. And I think, Anthony, you may be on the fence, but you need to give this one a listen. Cowboys from Hell by Pantera. I'm throwing it out.
Holy crap.
Love that album. I was listening to it and I was like, oh my God, this is such a good album. Thought about Vulgar Display of Power, but let's go back to the beginning with these guys. And
all right.
Sound good?
Do it.
Anthony,
I'm in, dude. Oh my God. You know what, Chris? I haven't listened to that whole album as an album.
It'd been ages. And I just came across it. I was like, oh man, we got to do this one.
All right, dude. I mean, I could definitely.
I can't jump the gun on a review for them, but I will say this: when I was listening to that, it surprised me how much it reminded me of early Metallica.
Oh yeah. It
really did. I was just like, wow, that's kind of what it. Anyway,
it's raw. Yeah, I know.
It's raw and it's heavy.
I've got it going through my mind right now. I'm like, holy crap, dude.
Yeah, Pantera is one of those bands that hasn't traveled well for the years. I don't know why that is.
Because half of them are dead.
It's because a lot of them are dead. So
I'm just saying
the main member is dead.
Yeah,
a lot of their old stuff.
And Anselmo's off in a some white power group right now or something. He's like a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Singer is. So he's like doing that.
Well,
I don't know what the other guys are doing. Dimebag and Phil were the only two I ever really knew in the band to begin with. So.
Well, Vinnie Paul is having success with a band called Hell Yeah, and he's the drummer. And then Rex Brown has gone on. He's recorded the solo album. I can't think of the name of the band that he's in now, but he's the main guitarist and singer. So I haven't listened to it yet, but I did see or listen to a podcast a couple of weeks ago where they interviewed him, and they did have a pretty candid conversation with him. So I haven't listened to that yet. I don't know how to even explain it, but I did hear one of the songs on that podcast. It sounded pretty good. I mean, it's more of a southern rock, hard rock album than it is a Pantera style. It ain't Pantera.
Those guys were from Texas. They have that southern kind of like
right.
Like, I know it's not southern rock. I mean, it's much heavier than that, but like they always kind of like represented the South. I felt like in their music.
Yeah, they did. You're right, man. They're definitely a southern rock band.
You're gonna love it, Anthony. Trust me.
Play some Skinner.
You're gonna love it.
Jimmy, did you see where I saw this week Devil Driver is doing a country album.
A what?
They're remaking old country songs now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the lead singer is like a big fan of country music or something. They're going to
Yeah.
take old
Dez,
country songs and
he's also a
like
fan of weed.
Eddings and stuff like that. George Jones. They're going to turn them into Devil Driver kind of sound.
All right.
So
Well,
I can only imagine
I'll be anxious to hear that.
what that's going to. Yeah, I mean,
Dang,
if they did,
man,
he stopped loving her today. That would be interesting.
dear Lord.
Version of he stopped loving her today.
Well, we'll see what happens. I didn't realize he was that big of a fan of country, but that's great. I know he lives like out in the middle of nowhere in California. He's got like he lives on a farm.
Said he's a
You guys
big
talk
fan of
about
like the
this
outlaw
Devil-
country, you know.
You guys talk about this band a lot. I guess I need to give them a listen. What kind of music is this? Devil
It's
Driver.
heavy. It's heavy.
Compare it to something I'd know.
God, hang on. Devil Driver. Hey, Anthony, what would you compare that to? I think it's more like
You know, I heard them. Amon Amarth is what brought them on Pandora for me, and I
oh
kind
my
of got
God, they're nothing like Monomarth. Come on now.
them plugged into Pandora, and that's why they came up on my radar. I don't
All right,
know.
let's see what we got here.
It's all right. I'll give them a
I'm
listen
not sure.
after the show.
That one album is really good with Clouds Over California on it, and I'll Head On to Heartache or Heartbreak or something like that. So,
The name of that album is The Last Kind
2000.
Words.
yeah, that's one I was going to suggest for us to do some.
Well, it's your turn next week if that's what you want to stick to. I can tell y'all right now, dude, if y'all want to do 2 albums, I'm down with that. I just don't
Well, I'll
want to
tell
get
you what.
too far
You know,
into it.
you guys can do the podcast next week if you want, but I'm not going to be.
Oh,
around.
that's right. Chris, you ain't going to be here, are you?
So, tell you what, though, you can shoot me an invite. I might I might be able to bring a computer with me and log on that night.
Where are you going?
We'll talk about it afterward. What's that?
Where are you going?
We're going to Destin, Florida.
Oh, Destin. I haven't been to Destin in years.
Yeah, we're in the house down there. So. I might do
Nice.
Wi-Fi. I'm not sure. We might be. I don't know. You know, it's hard to say what's going to be happening.
Well, you know what? I hate to even get you out to. I think we hold off because I'd rather have all 3 of us together.
And we can do 2 weeks. I hate to say this, but like
You're gone
I'm
for 2
leaving
weeks, right?
Friday, and we're not coming back till the next Sunday. So it kind of like
Yeah, it'll be 3 weeks.
yeah.
All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and plan 2 albums.
That sounds like an idea. Let's do that. Then we can review 2 albums on the next.
Yeah, let's do that. So, Anthony, are you down? Is that your suggestion? You want to do the Devil Driver?
Yeah,
Well,
I like to do that.
make sure it's something I can listen
Yeah.
to.
All right, let's see if we can get it on Amazon.
Does Jimmy have it? Do you have it, Jimmy?
I do, but Chris ain't gonna be. Well, I guess I can give it to him tomorrow or whenever.
Let me find it. Hold on. Let me see if we've got them on here.
I've got it, Chris. So if we need to, just
you can find it on YouTube. I let's do it through YouTube, Echo, Spotify,
Okay.
and they've all got it. So.
Their album, they've got an album on here called Winter Kills.
that's the only one.
Hey, Chris, you can go through Spotify. You can go through.
It's called The Last Kind Words.
You can go through any of those and listen to it.
Winter Kills might be their. No, it's not their newest one, but it's the second newest one.
The year it says on.
So I'm saying if you had Spotify or something like that, you could use that to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
We could do Winter Kills, Anthony. That's not a bad album.
Well, we can. I just know that other one had a couple songs I really liked on it, so that's why I was suggesting that one. But I'd be okay with that.
Well, Chris, if you want to do Last Kind Words, dude, I'll you just bring that thing over here and we'll put it on there.
Let's see.
Chris, you don't have access to like YouTube or Spotify?
I do, but then I can't like stream it continuously. I gotta like fast forward the commercials and stuff. It's fine. I mean, whatever. If you want to do it that. So what's the name of the one we're doing?
The Last Kind Words.
Okay. Devil Driver, The Last Kind Words.
Y'all shoot me a text with those 2. Make sure I remember them.
You're the
Cowboys.
one. You're the one wanting to do.
I'm saying the first one. What was the first one? Cowboys from Hell?
Cowboys from Hell, yeah.
And Tara.
That's fine. I'll remember that. My brain's not what it used to be.
It's all
Not
right,
at the
man.
end of the night, anyways. So it'll be 3 weeks, not next week, not the week after, the week after that.
Let's look
I
at the
think so.
calendar.
What the heck? We'll have to get into the point. Are we gonna try to continue doing this on a Friday, or are we gonna go back to Saturday?
So probably Saturday. I think Saturday works.
Well, I know. Hey, what day's
Friday.
that Night Ranger show, Chris? Is that not July the 14th or something?
It is. I think it is.
So that puts us at 3 weeks. Well, that's a Friday, not a Saturday, so we can do it on Saturday.
So are we saying July the 7th is when we're coming back? Or you want to do the Saturday?
Yeah, that's fine.
That far up into the future? Are we that close to July already?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks away.
Really?
All right, hang on.
Lord, this year's flying by.
Today's the 16th, so Chris, you'll be gone the 20-something. All right, I'm pulling my calendar up. All right, so Chris is gone the 24th until the 2nd. And
Wait
then
here, Chris.
all right, we can do it on the 8th. We can do it on I don't have anything planned on
The
the 8th.
23rd till the 2nd, actually.
Yeah. So we can do something on the 8th.
The 8th, that Saturday?
It's a Saturday, which will be it'll be 3 weeks away.
Okay.
So it's not
And the week after that.
Why don't we just get 3 albums? Why don't you pick one too, Jimmy? That's 3 weeks. You might as well have 3 albums. That's a lot of reviews. We might have to abbreviate our reviews on that if we do that.
Yeah, let me give me just a second. I got to find something on Amazon that you guys can.
You don't have to do 3. We can do.
You know what? Yeah, let's just do 2 because I think you're right. If we discuss 3 albums,
listen to it and not have to like rush.
Right. Yeah, you got one. I mean, like I can spend a week on Cowboys from which I mean, it probably won't even have to, but
it's almost 10 o'clock now. We only went over 1 album tonight, for goodness sake. So
that's what I'm saying. If we go much more than 2 albums, we're talking about an hour and a half, 2 hour conversation.
We'll just brief. We won't go into the detail on next time since we're doing 2. We can just hit the highlights and give our review.
Yeah. I mean, Chris, you may not even like that. They may even turn off the Devil Driver album.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah, I'm serious. It surprises me that I like it. Let's put it that way. I usually don't get into music like that. Yeah. For some reason, it's out. They grabbed me this week. I don't know why. But
we need to find a metal show that we can all attend, guys. A good metal show like a club somewhere.
Slayer and Exodus is coming to Raleigh, Anthony.
It's not Exodus. It's
who is it?
Godsmack and Lamb of God or something like that.
Lamb of God. Yes.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, Chris Counts has seen Lamb of God before.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Lamb of God. I'm getting into Slayer.
They opened for Metallica, right? Charlotte.
Yeah, they opened for Metallica.
I remember that. Was it Gojira, the other band that opened with?
Yes, sir. Gojira. Good stuff.
Yep. Is that the group you went to Asheville? Who's
it was.
Gojira.
Yeah.
For
Fantastic.
some reason, Slayer I've been listening a lot more Slayer lately too. I'm not sure why. Now I've avoided them most of my life, but
I must be too old for Slayer. I can't listen to none of their new crap. I can only listen to like Rain and Blood and South of Heaven. That's about it.
Well, I mean, those are good killer albums. Hell Awaits is a killer album too.
It's great, but it's no Rain and Blood.
I mean, you got to kind of carry a cross in a Bible when you listen to Hell Awaits because you fear your mortal life. But
Flash yourself in holy water while you listen to that.
I'm telling you, man, it's a killer. So that opening of that song, that done, it's that guitar and everything. Hell Awaits.
Yep.
Just then it kicked in. It's spectacular, man.
It certainly is a awakening.
Don't you have Satan in the background at one point in time in the chorus, like Hell Awaits?
I'll tell you guys, this beer I'm drinking right here is. The more you drink of this, it's fantastic. It really is.
Sounds like it's fantastic.
It's a Belgian beer, Anthony. It's kind of like made the way the Belgians make their beer.
So the next podcast, the week after that, I'll be up there with you guys, right? That's the way it's looking. Is that right?
What are we talking about?
The next podcast is what, July 8th, you said we're going to do?
When are you coming up?
I thought it was that weekend in the middle of July, like July 17th or something like that.
That's fine. I mean, do we have like a trip plan? Did I miss something? What are we talking about here?
Didn't you say the camping trip would be best that weekend of July because y'all had all this other stuff going on?
Yeah, is that?
It doesn't have to be because I get the house to myself that night. So I'd
No,
rather
that's fine. I do remember having that discussion. I don't remember the date though. So that's does that work for you, Jimmy? We're gonna set up a camping trip that weekend.
Jimmy, you there?
Yes. Yeah, I'm right here, guys. Hang on. I'm looking to see what day the concert is for Night Rangers. It's July 21st is when we're doing this show.
After that.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's hammer that down. We can do that.
I thought it was already hammered down, but you know.
It is. Well, it is now for sure.
Or maybe you're hammered. Maybe you're hammered now. One of the two. I'm not sure. But
I know. I'm not really hammered. It's not that.
Hey, Chris,
Not
did you
that
already
sorry.
buy your tickets for the Fun Fest?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
is Night Ranger part of the Fun Fest?
They are.
Yeah.
Why would they be part of a Fun Fest?
Because they're the greatest band on earth.
They're opening for who are they opening for? It was
Rick Springfield.
Trickster, Faster Pussycat.
We're gonna have a live cast from that too, aren't we? We're just gonna like
We should.
bring your
we
laptop, man. Set up a live music
Live
cast.
feed from Night Ranger.
That'd be Friday night, right?
It is.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a great idea.
So who is opening for them? Enough's Enough.
No, the opening act is Night Ranger.
Who's the main band?
Rick
It's
Springfield.
Oh, that's right. You're telling me that. Oh man, that hurts my head.
Which is really quite insulting to Night Ranger, in my opinion.
I couldn't agree
Well,
more.
Didn't you and I go see the County Crows and John Mayer was like the main act and they were like the
Yeah, County Crows for the
opening
opening
act.
act.
And you and I we were shocked when we saw it.
You know, the next night is Huey Lewis and the News down there. And
Really?
Yeah.
the Bare Naked Ladies are opening for Huey Lewis and the News.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm just not for that band.
I care less about it. It was my first concert, though. Huey Lewis. and
Huey
the News.
Lewis.
I was a
I
kid.
think was that 1988? Freedom Hall.
About 86, I think, actually.
You know, my first concert was
What's that?
Kenny
Is that
Rogers.
Who's that? Kenny Rogers. The
That's my
Gambler.
parents took me. Kenny
Really?
Rogers years ago.
The
Gallagher
Gambler.
opened for him. Gallagher opened for him at one show.
Gallagher? The guy that smashes
Well,
watermelons?
That seemed like recollections go back that far. Maybe I'm missing.
That's
I do
terrible.
remember going to see
That's
The
Very
guy
freaking
that
early.
terrible.
smashes watermelons open for Kenny Rogers?
Hey, you got to
Very
know when to
early
hold
age.
them and know when to smash them.
That's the way to get a damn crowd. They're all in ponchos by the time Kenny Rogers comes out.
Because they know they're getting ready to get slayed.
Now that memory is probably about 40 years old now, so maybe 40. You know, so it
See,
may
I
not
can't
be
remember
exactly accurate.
I know my first concert that was actually at a concert Civic Center was Kiss, but my first show I don't really remember too much about it, was at the Tobacco Festival at Washington County Fair now.
Oh wow!
All right.
And it would have been somebody like Loretta Lynn or something. I can't even remember.
Yeah, I mean, my first real concert was probably Def Leppard when I was a teenager. Really resonated with me a lot. Was Tesla and Def Leppard in the round.
My
Damn,
first
that
one
would have
was,
been a good show.
that would have been a good show. I didn't get to see that one.
Yeah,
My first real show was Aerosmith, I guess, back then.
yeah, I remember seeing them too.
Ninth grade.
Didn't Cinderella open for them?
Nope.
No,
Who was it?
it was White
Yeah, I know.
Line. White
White
Line
Line
and
stuff.
somebody else. I believe White Line.
I can't. Was it Trickster?
No, it was White Line and somebody else.
Yeah, because I remember I still am into White Line. They're a pretty good band, but
You big White Line fan?
I still got 2 of their CDs downstairs.
I've got the only two that count.
Well, me too. You know, the first one, Pride and
Pride
Big Game.
and Big Game. That's it.
Big Game.
Big Game has that Little
They're not
Fighter
a
on
Big
it.
Game after that, were they?
Little Fighter is one of my favorite songs by him. I always
That's
love
a
that
great
song.
song, man.
Yeah, it was a good song. We could review Pride if you guys would like to. Instead of,
Man, Wait is still a killer song. I'm telling you, Wait is still.
I just don't like that one. I really don't. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it got played too much when I was younger. But
Hey, that's a great power ballad right there. When that guitar solo is still one of my favorites. When the children cry.
Vito Bratta is a hell of a guitarist, man.
You believe you could play that one, Jimmy, just like that? Really? That one seems like it'd be fairly easy. Just
I couldn't.
From air guitaring it over the years, it seems like it's pretty simple to me, man.
Yeah, air guitar, I probably got a shot at it, but real guitar, nah. That would require a lot of practice.
I bet I gave you a day, you could pick it up pretty easy.
Yeah, maybe a day. If I spent a considerable amount of time, yeah, I probably could. I'd have to.
So that means in 12 days, you could probably play that whole album.
No, far from true. But hey, y'all, no joke. The guy is a Eddie Van Halen clone. In case you didn't know that.
Oh please, come on now.
He worshipped Eddie Van Halen. That's what I'm telling you.
Maybe he worshipped him.
That's why he had all those finger tapping.
Eddie Van Halen's one of the best guitarists of all time. That doesn't mean I can. Pick up guitar.
But his solos are modeled after Eddie Van Halen stuff. He always he do the tapping and stuff. I mean, trust me, if you go back and listen to it, Chris, and listen to the solos, you're going to hear some Van Halen.
Well, that's surprising. I don't think of Van Halen when I think of White Line, I can tell you right now.
Well, nobody really does, but I promise you, if you listen to the solos, you will be like, wow, this is actually something stolen from Eddie Van Halen. I tell you, that's exactly what you're going to say. So,
yeah, I can hear that. It's like I read that somewhere along the way.
Hey, he worshipped him. Like every guitarist in the 80s worshipped him.
Well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people were influenced by Eddie Van Halen. I mean,
tons, dude.
Well, yeah. When Eruption, it like launched 1,000 guitarists or something like that.
Launched more than that, I'm sure.
Speaking of Eruption, I got to tell you, Anthony, we went and saw Poison a while back.
They can still do it.
Steve DeVille breaks out this guitar solo. And, dude, it was Eruption for a while. And he man, you would have knocked me over before that show started if you'd have told me the best guy in that band was C.C. DeVille. But I walked away thinking that guy did the best out of anybody that night, didn't you?
I'm gonna tell you right now, he was the talent behind that band when it came to music.
I would have never thought that. Yeah, Brett's voice is shot for the most part. Bobby Dahl looked like a fool up there. I mean,
he had a crackhead, didn't he?
Yeah, and I guess the drummer was okay, but man, in my opinion, CC DeVille, every solo he just nailed, man. I mean,
he did.
I know we're talking about Poison, but I mean, really, he was good. He really was. And I didn't expect that because I remember seeing them. They kind of like broke up, and I guess when they got back together a while back, CC looked like he was all strung out on drugs. And
he was.
I remember on one of these music shows, one of these, I don't know, like award shows or something. They came back and got together, and he got up there and started the wrong song. Do y'all remember that?
Yeah,
like they were gonna play something else, and he started playing "Talk Dirty" to me. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes. Oh my God. And everybody looked at him and was like, "Okay, I guess we're playing this."
Hey, that's how you take over a band.
I think that was the beginning of the end for that group, man.
It was.
They take their makeup off just like Kiss, and they just went straight to hell.
But I'm telling you, Anthony, that night he carried that band. He really did. I
can imagine.
I did not expect it, but he did.
He really did. I agree. I agree with you 100%, man. He really did. It was probably that was the highlight of their show, is watching him play, because he blew everybody away.
And when he did his solo, and he broke into Eruption, and man, it sounded just like Van Halen's Eruption, didn't you think? I mean,
it did.
I was like, damn.
I can imagine.
He played about 2 minutes of Eruption, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like,
I'm sure there was some copyright infringements going on there. I don't know.
I can't imagine.
If Eddie Van Halen found out about that, there'd be a massive lawsuit.
We probably need to apologize to anybody that actually watched this video, because there's two sections of silence. One's about a minute, and the other one's about 45 seconds or something. And I don't know if y'all went back and listened to the video, but I guess it's just utter silence.
You're talking about last week?
Yeah, last week's video, because I got the emails from
you managed to.
Yeah, it's back up. Good. We've actually had like 14 views on it.
That's great. Anybody make a comment?
No comments, man. I was kind of hoping somebody would say
You guys
you
don't know what
guys are
you're
a bunch
talking
of
about.
losers or something, you know.
Yeah, I know my Roku YouTube channel, my son watches trash drink videos all the time. And when I pull up YouTube to find a video,
Yeah.
I see Chris's face and Jimmy's face on there because I watched that podcast before. So I'm
Nice.
stuck seeing y'all every time I pull up the YouTube.
Sorry, man. That's got to be rough.
Yeah, I'm not sure when our face popped up on that last one, but
Yeah, but anyways.
we're gonna do it.
Well, it's about 10:10, y'all.
That's what I was going to say, boys. Let's call it a night.
We can wind it down.
All right, so we go back live in 3 weeks, and we got 2 albums to review. We're going to do Cowboys from Hell, Pantera, of course, and then Devil Drivers, The Last Kind Words. Critical listens. We got some homework to do, guys. One of these albums is going to be super easy to do. The second, the Devil
Cowboys
Drivers,
from Hell is gonna be simple.
Yeah. The Devil Drivers, I'm going to give that one a very, very honest listen because I haven't listened to that album probably in 10 years.
So you own this album.
I have all their stuff.
I can come pick it up from you. And
Yeah, God. Yeah, dude. Come and get it if you want it. That's what I said. You just let me know if you want to come tomorrow,
That's-
Monday, Tuesday,
for me,
whenever.
like the easiest listen is to like just throw it in and drive down the road and listen on my way to work and back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just kind of soaks in that way, and then when I'm ready to review it, I actually pull it up and listen to it one by one and write them down. But like
Right.
to be familiar with it, it helps.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
we'll
Yeah,
do
just
it
let
in-
me know, man.
So we're doing what, July 8th? Is that right?
Sounds good.
Yeah, Saturday, right? We're doing it on Saturday, July 8th.
All right. Well, I got to
Hey,
get
man.
the master bedroom up, so I need to get off here tonight, but
All right.
got nowhere else in the
Boys,
house to go.
Y'all have a great one. And for those who watched, thank you. And y'all have a great night. I'll catch you guys around.
We'll see you in 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
All right, see you
whatever it
guys.
is.
Later.
All right.
See ya.
Later, guys.